And it'd be great if no one owned anything. You will own nothing and be happy, at least that's what Klaus Schwab says. Now, I'm sure that John Lennon's idea of a better world was at least with good intentions, unlike these billionaires at Davos. So, what is Great Reset? What is WEF and what the hell is going on at Davos? The one might say, yeah, the WEF is a non-profit foundation and their purpose is to connect people of influence, CEOs, politicians, etc., to find solutions for the world's problems. And that the very nature of the organization makes them suspicious in the eyes of many people, and they are an easy target for conspiracy theories about secret cabals running the world. You know, I don't really believe there are secret cabals running the world, but the Great Reset is not a conspiracy theory, because they are openly talking about it.
Conspirators, more often than not, they announce their intentions. They're reported all over the place. They're in our newspapers, they're bannered on the covers of magazines. We get updates on their progress.
So, what is WEF? World Economic Forum is an international NGO founded on 24th of January 1971 by Klaus Schwab, their boss. The forum engages the foremost political, business, cultural and other leaders of society to shape global, regional and industry agendas. They are best known for their annual meetings in Davos, Switzerland, where a lot of wealthiest people come to this exclusive tourist location to talk about the economy. Even the President of the United States goes there. Membership is made out of rich people who pay membership from $70,000 to $700,000 depending on the level of engagement. And they say they have a unified goal of making the world a better place. Sounds great. But let's watch this promotional video on Great Reset. You will own nothing and you will be happy. Whatever you want, you'll rent and it'll be delivered by drone. Well, I wonder if Bill Gates, who is a big contributor to WEF agenda, will renounce his 242,000 acres of farmland.
Bill Gates has been snatching up 242,000 acres of farmland across the US, enough to make him the top private farmland owner in America.
US won't be number one world power. Who will be? China? Now, when they talk about resetting capitalism, it could mean more power to the government. China is supposed to emerge soon as the number one global superpower, right? So, they have their communist dictatorship and social credit score that is affected by what you say about the government and how you behave, which will affect whether or not you can purchase and own property, what you can rent, whether you're allowed to travel, and the list goes on.
World where everything you do, from meeting your friends to using a public toilet, is recorded. Based on your actions ranging from what you buy to where you go, you are given a score similar to the way you rate an Uber drive. If the government believes what you do is socially beneficial, the score will increase, and if not, the score will decrease. If you critique the government, buy alcohol or play games, your score decreases, and when your score is low, you won't be allowed to travel, your children would be barred from applying to high school, you would be fired from your job, and the best part, you would be publicly shamed. This dystopian future is a reality of today's China.
Their global surveillance program, with several 100 million cameras monitoring its citizens, is literally called Skynet. Printing organs. I like this one. See? Not all ideas are stupid. You will eat much less meat. No more carnivore diet for Jordan Peterson. Bill Gates has radical plans to change our food. What's on the menu? And the most recent agenda, the Great Reset, wants to use the pandemic as a chance to rethink the way we do things and improve the lives of everyone. Let's see what Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, has to say about this.
Building back better means getting support to the most vulnerable while maintaining our momentum on reaching the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the SDGs. Canada is here to listen and to help. This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset, This is our chance to accelerate our pre-pandemic efforts to reimagine economic systems that actually address global challenges like extreme poverty, inequality, and climate change.
It also happens to be a coincidence that if we just so happen to go along with their Great Reset, we will save ourselves from impending disaster. Now, this is from their official website greatreset.com. The pause during the lockdown created by the pandemic resulted in 7% decrease in global emissions in 2020. The UN states that we need a decrease of 7.6% every year until 2030 to avoid climate and ecological disaster. This means we need to maintain the same decrease every year as if we were living in a lockdown. The challenge is that as we emerge from the pandemic, the pressure to go back to business as usual will intensify. But people don't want to go back, says this survey. Only 23% of UK public believe following lockdown advertising should encourage people to consume, shop and fly like before lockdown. 77% believe that it is the industry's responsibility to encourage people to behave more sustainably like during the lockdown. A OnePlus survey, 1,000 response. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I don't really think 1,000 people from UK who are age 16 plus is a fair representation. How do they think to put this plan in action, live like we're in a lockdown, for the next 10 years and it not being incredibly destructive? I don't think any normal human being wants more lockdowns. Billionaires at Davos are not in a lockdown and they make more money than ever.
When you add up the numbers, billionaires in the United States have increased their total net worth $637 billion during the COVID-19 pandemic so far. At the same time, more than 40 million Americans filed for unemployment. With tens of millions of Americans out of a paycheck and the stock market plummeting by 37% in March, how is it that the rich have continued getting richer?
We can act rapidly and restructure our lives.
The recovery from the pandemic is an opportunity. We can see rays of hope in the form of a vaccine, but there is no vaccine for the planet. Nature needs a bailout.
You don't want to go back to the status quo that you had before simply because it was the status quo that got us here.
So, climate change seems to be the main issue WEF is trying to deal with. Now, in my opinion, rather than locking people up, reshaping economy and laws, and move to this new form of capitalism that is focusing on zero emissions by using tools of the pandemic, the way we should tackle with climate issues is X prizes and other incentive prizes to motivate innovative scientists to get the best results. We'll talk about this in some other videos. Listen, ideas are welcome, and ideas can be stupid. As a matter of fact, they are stupid most of the time. But implementation without people's approval is something else. While controversial in its nature, there's a possibility that the aim is to open up the conversation, stir up the pot, and get more attention, get more $700,000 memberships, and keeping the influence and relevance. Or maybe the WEF members are benevolent and saving the world and environment and have your and mine best interests in mind. Somehow I have reservations of that. The one thing is for sure. WEF has a terrible marketing, and the whole thing about the Great Reset is so poorly explained. No one can tell you exactly what it is, but we have to talk about these things whenever they emerge. On the other hand, we are already at the stage where you could get cancelled by big tech companies just by questioning the authority. All of us should have the right to question authority in a free democratic society, by definition. We simply cannot say that we live in a free society with the freedom of speech and the freedom of choice. We are slowly losing ability to enjoy our freedoms. What do you think? Would you live in this brave new world? Let me know down in the comments. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'll be releasing more content soon. Thank you. No need for